I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a recent post that I posted on social media. I got a lot of engagement and a lot of feedback in response to this post about my mom and assisting her with preparing for retirement. So, as a result of my post about assisting my mom with preparing for retirement, I wrote a couple of tips down that I took from my retirement plan. Tips that I used and that I advised my mom to use. And I wanted to kind of break the tips down a little bit further and give you guys some examples of what we did with my mom's retirement investment strategy. So the first tip that I gave my mom is to determine what being retired looks like for her. So for example, retirement looked like her being able to see her grandkids every quarter, her making a specific amount of monthly income from her cash flow producing properties. Retirement looked like her being able to travel to Arizona for 2 to 3 months out of every year. So those are some examples of priorities of my mom's that we had to evaluate and take into consideration when she put her retirement plan together. The second tip that I provided was to determine where you're at with retirement. So for example, do you have a retirement plan? Do you have a retirement account? Is that something that you need to set up? My mom was self-employed, a hairstylist for the past 20 plus years. So she had a Roth IRA and a self-directed IRA account set up. So again, where are you at in the process? It was important for me to communicate with her and get a good understanding of where she was at in the retirement process and what she had done to contribute to preparing for retirement. So my mom was in good shape. I was really proud of the money that she had contributed on a consistent basis, but unfortunately she was not prepared for retirement, and she, wasn't close to being able to retire and live the life that I had described previously in the first tip. The third tip that we used is to engage an expert in the industry. So my mom's experts that she was communicating with was myself. I was educating her on her investment strategies and building her generational wealth plan. Another expert that my mom engaged is a IRA custodian. This is a third-party organization that was able to educate my mom about the things that she could do to avoid penalties and to ensure that she was able to maintain as much of her wealth as possible. So any unnecessary fees, penalties, taxes, we wanted to make sure that we were doing everything we needed to do so she could keep as much money as possible. The fourth tip is to create a generational wealth plan and be strategic. So we took a deep dive into what my mom wanted her future to look like. So we looked 5 years ahead, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, even 30 years, and really made sure that whether, it was a business that she wanted to form, a passion project, a trip, whatever she wanted to do, that we were including that in her plan and building out the infrastructure so those things were obtainable. The fifth and final tip is to implement the plan, be patient, and be strategic. My mom implementing her plan looked like her investing several times a year, every year for the past 5 years. She invested a range of $5,000 to $35,000 in a variety of different projects, and I'm really proud of her. I appreciate that she was willing to take a risk. I appreciate that she was able and willing to bet on herself, bet on her future, bet on this community, and she deserves it. So her portfolio increased in value significantly over the past 5 years. Like many other people's portfolios in Philadelphia, Philly is a gold mine, and the neighborhood that we're investing in adjacent to Temple Health Sciences campus is a gold mine. So she was very aggressive with it. She has a huge goal that she's looking to achieve with her vacant land portfolio, and she has a huge goal that she's looking to achieve with some other businesses and passion projects that she wants to focus on down the line. So this was really exciting for me. This process was more abundant than I could have ever imagined. Again, my mom knew that I had her best interest at heart, and that if she were to partner up with anyone to put her in a position to retire, that she needed to work with someone that really cared about her and had a vested interest in seeing her thrive and seeing her succeed. So I encourage you guys to work with your family, continue to educate your family, educate yourselves, and prepare for retirement. Put the infrastructure together so you guys and your family can be good for generations to come. Build out a portfolio that is sustainable. It's so important that we're not just investing, but we're investing strategically, and we're investing in a way where if the portfolios are handled with care, they're scalable, and we can continue to maintain site control and access for generations to come. So I appreciate you guys for tuning into these tips. I hope that you feel that they were helpful, and I look forward to connecting with you guys soon.